family have access to their own food and pharmacy right at their backyard. She believed that every home should grow their own food, herbs, and medicine, and has been advocating for every home to start one, even if there's no space for garden. So with her experience in upcycling, she also trains women and children on organic backyard gardening using waste beds, cement bags, use containers, use tires and plastic bottles, hydroponics and vertical gardening in small spaces. Through this initiative, over 2,500 homes now grow their own organic backyard garden, harvesting fresh chemical-free herbs, fruits, and veggies, eating and living in healthier lifestyle with their families since COVID-19 hit. A target on this is 10,000 homes. Her works has been featured on several media like Al Jazeera, Reuters, Channel TV, Tribe TV, AIT, Galaxy TV, BCUS, NTA, and several other places. An alumni of Academy of Women Entrepreneur by the US Mission in Nigeria, an alumni of Global Entrepreneurship Training West Africa by Angdok University, South Korea, and a grant recipient of Burning Man Heart Foundation, USA and USADF. Our vision for 2025 is to train 2 million children in functional upcycled arts and empower 200,000 unemployed youths and widows in Africa. With a great pleasure, we want to welcome Madame Jumoke Olowokere. Please let's give her a round of applause in the chat box or show her some love through her emoji as she takes the floor. Ma, you can go ahead.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm actually on the road, but I just had to settle down to talk to you. How many minutes do I have?
Still 40 minutes, ma. 40 minutes.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Let me see what I can do. And good afternoon, everybody. I hope you'll be able to allow me just do like a chit chat to us because I'm on the road. I don't even have any access to my laptop or to anything. But this is what I do and sleep and wake up to. So wake me up in the middle of the ocean. I'm ready to talk to us. So the topic of today's meeting is simple waste reduction strategies for sustainable environment. We can't talk about this without me sharing my story of how, I'm even in the space for you to even be able to call me in the first instance. This is not supposed to be, I'm not supposed to be the person that you're supposed to call because I didn't do any of this in school. I didn't know that there's a climate issue or a general problem that the whole world is trying to solve. I just discovered waste in my own personal kitchen and I was looking for what to do and way forward on what we can do with the waste. And because I wasn't ready to give up, I was asking the question, there should be something that we could do with some of this waste. And, for the first time in my own life, I think that was around 14 years ago, I was home on maternity leave. I just gave birth to twins. And for the first time, I realized the amount of waste I was generating in my own personal space. And I was like, why should we be throwing these things away? It started from waste from cans. I remember I had twins then, and the two of them were taking 1 can of naan every day. And so every 7 days, I have 7 cans of naan in my store. And before you know it, under 3 months, I had a whole full store filled with cans. And I was like, cans, what do I do with cans? Am I going to throw it away? I know that I couldn't throw it away. I shouldn't throw it away. So I kept it in the store. Then, because I have a lot of visitors that come in, so visitors will come in and then we'll open juice, we'll open drinks. And then one day a visitor came and I served them a box of juice. And after they were done, they left and there was some juice remaining. I said, okay, let me enjoy my life and take the remaining juice. And I poured the juice and I was still hearing some sound, in the box of juice, like there's still juice remaining. So I said, now today I must finish, the juice in this box. So I brought up the scissors and I opened the box. And lo and behold, the inside of that box was finer and shinier than even the outside. It has a beautiful foiled thing. And I'm like, so this box that I've been throwing away, why am I throwing this box away when even the inside of the box is finer and it is stronger? Why do we have to throw it away? So those questions. And then I think another thing happened. There was a day I had a visitor, I broke eggshells and I finished frying the eggs and I did not want to throw the eggshells away. So I washed the eggshells and I remembered, when I was young, I think they said you could grind eggshells and then use them as scoring powder. So these were the questions that was on my mind that I was trying to look for solutions to. I didn't know that it was a global problem. I didn't know, I've never heard of anything called climate change as of that time. I think that was around 2008, 2009, thereabout, And so these are the things that stirred up the curiosity in me to look for what we could do with waste. Now, like every other person, every one of us listening to me today, there have been instances whereby you have come across these challenges in your life. And some of us have risen up to look for solutions, while some of us just think the problem is for the government to solve, or the problem is for the government, my neighbor, my landlord that did not produce refuse dump. Now, these are the things that we experience because every human being, presently now, it is estimated that every single individual is generating 0.75 kilogram of waste every day. And so it cuts across. Me personally now, I can proudly stand here before you and tell you that I generate zero waste. Now, it will be like I'm proud, like I'm trying to do shakara, but to the best of my ability, apart from the only waste I know that I still make and I'm still wasting for now is I think my poo and my wee, which I'm still going to find solution to very soon because we already started talking about it. Now, because I noticed the waste in my own space and I was willing to give it time, I was willing to think and ponder on how I could solve the problem. That is what brought us to here, that you're even calling me, because this was not my field. This was not what I did in school. This does not relate to anything that I've ever done in my life prior to when I discovered the waste in my kitchen. So I gave it thought. I gave it time. I started exploring. I started asking questions. Nobody could answer my question then because nobody could even understand my question. What is your business? How is that your problem? Why are you bothered about waste? Why does it matter if somebody finish using their waste and they throw it inside dustbin anywhere they want to throw it inside? How does that affect your salary? Those were the questions that my friends that I shared with in those days. Those were the questions they were asking me. That how is that my problem? How does it affect me? Why am I disturbing myself? Why am I worrying myself about the waste that is available in a particular country? So I decided to look for solution. I decided to be the solution. Has it been done? Have you done it? Have you started it? Shema Magbelo. Sorry, I need to sort. I've been trying to wait for my mechanic for a while. I'm going to church. Ha. Can you stop now? Can you stop me more? Okay. Sorry, my mechanic is working on my car and I'm trying to sort him out. Okay, so like I was saying, okay. Okay, no problem. We're in Nigeria. I hope, sorry, you just give me some few minutes. Let me sort the mechanic out. So it's sorted out.
Okay, that's fine, man.
Adjust it.
Okay, so while we wait for her to be back, if you have questions, please you can use the chat box to type in the questions, or when it's time for us to ask,
you can take it now.
we can raise up our hands and we'll be called upon. Thank you.
Okay. Straight Adoy. Okay, so sorry about that. Like I was saying, so I decided to look for the solution instead of just keeping quiet about it and saying it doesn't concern me like all my friends were saying that. I remember when I was asking each of them and I was saying, can't there be something else we can do? Can't we do something? They were all like, how is that my business? So I decided to look for a solution. And I was thinking I was looking for a solution for my own self. But along the line, after discovering the solution, I realized that it is not my problem. It is actually the world's problem, and the world will need to find a solution to it. So I decided to be the solution. So that is one major, first aspect that I feel we all need to do. And I'm glad that we are on this call, because if we were not ready to look for solution, we would not even be here. Everybody's got one thing to do, something important to do or not. But you are on this call today because you have first of all passed the first major test, which is to be the solution. And I feel that is even, what brings all of us here together today now. So now, after you have realized that you want to be the solution, then we can now say, okay, what are the things that we need to put in place? So what did I do? When I realized the solution, when I realized what I could do with the first thing I discovered was simple things I could do with the waste that I was generating in my own space alone, which is upcycling. So I started learning, I started discovering different things I could do with the waste that I was generating. And when I realized it, I did not keep quiet about it. I wanted to share. And so that will definitely take us to the next of what we need to do to reduce, strategies that we need to do. The first thing I said, if you are following me, is for you to decide that you want to be the change. Then the second thing is for you to not keep whatever information you have to yourself, for you to be ready to share it, which was what I did. All the things I was able to discover, all the things I was able to realize that I could do, I knew that it is not my problem anymore. I realized that it was a global problem. It was a problem that the whole world can benefit from. And so I was willing to share what I have discovered with the world. So that should be the next step of what we could do. Decide to share. Decide to share. Whatever information, no matter how small you think the information you have gotten is, somebody else needs it. Somebody don't have that information. We may think that what we have is not important, but it is when you share it that you realize that the world is actually waiting for what you think is small, what you think that the world does not need. That is actually what the world is waiting for. So when I decided to share, and I realized that the more I was sharing, the more I was learning more, and the more I was also the more I was learning more, and the more I was able to reach out to more people. So I started from training young children in an holiday camp. I opened my house up and I did flyers. I rented tables. I rented chairs. I started inviting students to come to my house. That was I think I started that one in 2010, 2011, 2012. So I will invite students to come to my space. We will explore different things. I'll ask them to come with boxes from their houses, plastics from their houses, and then we'll explore different things they could turn that to. And gradually, that became my life. And I started learning more about, the climate action. I started learning more about sustainability. I started learning more about, so many other things. And so from there, fast forward to 2017, I realized I wanted to do my birthday. And I said, okay, I'm not going to just do birthday and just let my birthday just be like every other birthdays. I want my birthday to be impactful. And that was how we came up with the PP40 project, where we went to 40 public schools. We were able to reach out to more students. Over 25,000 school students were able to reach out to that year. And fast forward from that project, we started a company, a social enterprise company. And every day we were showing up, every day we were working, and we were, learning more. And fast forward to when we came up with the idea of the Waste Museum, because we realized that, every day we keep on working in this sphere, God is giving us more inspiration. God is giving us more idea, and I believe that the ideas that we're still going to get is still on hand, because the more we still keep on working on this idea, the more we still keep showing up every day, the more ideas will start coming in. So, and then fast forward to when we opened the Waste Museum. The Waste Museum initiative looked like something that would never be possible. Nobody has ever done it before, but we were able to look at ourselves and say, we were able to say there is a need and we can fill up that need. We realized that when people see what they could do with waste, then they will be willing to go back to their own space and do the same. So open practice minimization, good. I'm going to get to that. So when we opened the Waste Museum, we realized that there is the need for the world to see the beauty in waste. Because if I'm talking to you today now and I'm saying Waste is not waste. Keep your waste. Don't throw your waste away. The next question you ask me is that why? Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to be keeping my waste? Why can't I just throw my waste into the dustbin and let somebody come and pick it up? But when you see some of the things that we've been able to do with waste, then we don't have to talk too much. You will be able to, you'll be able to go back to your own space and do likewise. So simple waste reduction strategies for sustainable environment. I will say our 5 hours and a U. Our 5 hours and a U cut across all the things that we needed to do as strategies. Now, I will take the 5 hours and a U. The first R is reduce. The second one is reuse. The third one is recycle. The other one is refuse, repair, and upcycle. Now, let me take it again. Reduce, reuse, recycle, refuse, repair, and upcycle. Now, these 5 R's and a U, we believe are the solution to creating a sustainable world without waste, which is our mission. We believe that if everybody can put these 5 R's and a U in their consciousness, we said you must first of all decide to be the solution. Now, what does it mean to reduce? We all know. Reduce means purchase wisely. We start from there. So many people are buying what they don't need. And so they pile up more waste for themselves. If I ask you now to look into your wardrobes and point out to how many t-shirts you have not worn this year, how many trousers you have not worn this year, but has that stopped you from buying more? We have so many clothes piled up in our wardrobes and we are still buying more. It must start from reducing. Purchase wisely. Say no. You don't have to buy everything. How many kilograms of waste do you generate in your house every month? The strategy that we have to put in place must start from reducing our waste. Everybody must take that conscious effort in our spaces, in our homes, in our offices, in our place of work, in our companies. We must reduce our waste. We must ensure that some waste does not get to the dustbin. We must ensure that what we don't need, we don't purchase. We must ensure that what we have purchased, we use them, and we keep reusing them. And that brings us to reduce, reuse. Reuse means you have purchased something before. Instead of purchasing another one, you can reuse that one that you have purchased before. Example, buying secondhand instead of buying new. Somebody has produced a t-shirt 100% cotton somewhere. They're no longer using it again. Some of them have not even been worn. They've just been hung in one boutique or the other, and then they packed it together and they've shipped it as secondhand. Do you know that if you buy that secondhand, you are actually saving climate than you buying newly produced? Because newly produced product, newly produced t-shirt, newly produced everything costs so much to produce, waste so much materials and resources to produce. But if you have this consciousness of buying secondhand, if it is still good, why buy new? Secondhand is cheaper, and not only cheaper, it's actually saving the world, because what you have just done is that you have reduced that purchase, that new product that have just been produced. Instead of putting what they have just made into your house, you have just reduced it. And so we move to recycle. Recycle and upcycle, most of them means the same thing. It means to use the waste in another form, turn the waste into a new product. But in recycling, you need the use of big machines, while in upcycling, you don't need the use of big machines. For example, my earring that I'm wearing now, this is an example of upcycling. I make these earrings with bottle covers, and it is just upcycling. I did not have to break down the bottle cover. I just added, with the use of my hand and simple machines, simple tools, I was able to add some other materials to the bottle cover, and I turned them into jewelries. This is upcycling. But recycling, I can take the plastic bottle,
We
put
have
it inside a big
non-governmental
machine.
organizations meeting or exceeding their expectations. Then we have communities, stable employment.
Can I go on?
Please go on, ma.
Yes,
Continue.
ma, you can go on. Apologies for that.
Okay, so when we're talking about recycling and upcycling, both of them means the same thing, but they differ in their processes. In recycling, you will need the use of big machines. For example, you can take the plastic bottle waste, put this inside a machine to crush it. From that crushers into pellets. From the pellet, they put it in another machine. The other machine will melt it and turn it into strings. And then from the string, they turn it into t-shirts. I remember the World Cup before the Qatar World Cup, the Nigerian team, the jersey they were wearing was made from plastic bottle. That is an example of recycling. You can also turn, for example, you can take tires, put it in a machine, the machine will crush it into crumbs, and then from crumbs, put it in another machine, and the other machine will bind it and turn it into interlocking bricks. That is recycling. You need big machines for that. And you can also contribute to recycling by collecting some of this waste that recycling companies that we have around us are using and supplying it to them and being like an off-taker. You can be like a collector, and you can, even if you don't have big money to establish a recycling plant, you can still contribute to recycling. And upcycling is what you and I can do, which is one area that we focus on at the Waste Museum, because you and I can do upcycling. We don't need big machinery. Simple, taking your pure water sachet that you just finished drinking, instead of throwing that pure water sachet away, or your plastic bottle, instead of throwing the plastic bottle away, you can cut it into two, put sand in it, put your seed. You will eat pepper every day. Take your rodo pepper that you just finished washing, take out the seeds from it, put it inside the plastic bottle that you just finished drinking. You have just upcycled, that plastic bottle into a planter. Everybody can do this. And that is why we focus on upcycling, because you don't need a lot of money to do upcycling. Once you have the knowledge and you have your creativity, you can do upcycling. Another one I want to talk about, which is the 5 hours, is refuse. Just say no. Just simply say no. What you don't need, don't buy. What you don't need, what is not required for you, don't buy. Just say no. Somebody is offering you a glass bottle and somebody is offering you a plastic bottle. Choose the glass bottle and refuse the plastic bottle. And then the last one is repair. You have things in your house that are spoiled. You have electronics in your house that are spoiled. And then because you have money and you're a very rich man, you just decided to buy another one. Now, when you buy the new one, what do you do with the old one? If I ask you now that what do you do with your waste, you will say you throw your waste away. Now, where is a way? If you cannot define a way, then you are part of the problem. Because if you buy a new electronics, the freezer is spoiled, you buy another one instead of repairing that freezer. If it is repairable, you buy that, you take that freezer and you buy another one. What do you do with the old one? Then the old one will be thrown into the landfill and it will become a pollution because it will start releasing lead. Nobody needs it anymore. Nobody uses it anymore. And then it will start releasing lead and polluting the waterways and the airways around wherever you have thrown it into. So these are the consciousness we have to begin to make. And it requires you and I. Once we wake up every day and we generate waste, we must ask ourselves, what do I do with my waste? My waste must not be part of the waste that, if we tag our waste, some of my friends that are in ornithologists that works with birds, they will, if they capture a particular bird, they will tag the bird and they will release the bird back into the sky. And then once in a while, some people will pick that bird, and you don't know the distance that the bird can be thrown out of in Africa, and then they will find, the bird in America, they find the bird in New York because it has been tagged. The same way, if we tag our waste, where do you think your waste is going to be found? If everybody is allowed to finish using their waste and put their tag on it and put a name on it and throw it into wherever you want to throw it into, you will not begin to imagine the distance that your waste can cover. And so we must begin to tell ourselves, my waste will not be part of, consciously, even if our waste is not being tagged, even if nobody is watching us, we should watch ourselves, we should tell ourselves, my waste is not going to be part of the waste that will be found in the ocean. My waste, imagine if everybody in the world is having that same mentality. Are we going to find waste in the gutters? Are we going to find waste on the landfill? Some will even be in their cars and they will drink their drinks and they will throw it out of the window. It starts from there. When your children are watching you, you are throwing waste from your window, you are throwing waste from your cars, they will start to throw waste from your cars too. And so we are raising future generation. That's why we focus on children. We are raised because we in our experiences, we realize that adults are too set in their ways. They don't want to change. They don't want to do something different. They don't want to keep their way. They don't even want to sort. Now, all this English that I've been saying since morning, in case I'm not sure whether I've mixed it with Yoruba today, but all this Atotonu and the Yoruba that I've been speaking and the English I've been speaking this morning, it all starts with us. It starts with you and I. And it starts from our own space. That's a Yoruba proverb. Whatever we want to do, charity must always begin at home. It must begin with us. Do you know that we are the epistles that people are watching? Most of us that are in this sustainability space, we talk more than we walk. We talk more than our action. Our talk is too loud, but our action is nowhere to be found. When we begin to live a sustainable lifestyle, when we begin to live a lifestyle that is eco-conscious, that is waste-conscious, that is environmental conscious, guess what? People around you will begin to watch you as an epistle. And it is when they watch you and they see that you are real, you are true to whatever you are saying, that is when you begin to see genuine impact, you begin to see genuine change. Now, you are in the sustainability space, you are doing a particular project now, but around the environment, who are you in your space? Who are you in your house? What do you do with your waste? Your neighbors are watching you. It is what you do in your environment. When you now go out and you talk to your neighbors, maybe doing work cleanup day, they will look at you and say, well, you that we saw you that you carry your waste from your house and you throw it in the gutter when it was raining. Or you that you carried your waste and you went to go and throw it in your neighbor's dustbin because you don't want to pay for dustbin. People are watching us. So whatever we want to do, our charity must begin at home. It must start with us. Then when we start with us, people around us will now start looking at our life as an epistle, and then they will start following whatever it is that we are preaching. So one of that strategy that I want us to also take note is that our voices must not be louder than our action. Our action must also, be incommensurate with whatever it is that we want to talk about. So I just want to wrap this up by saying, before I start attending, I know that so many questions have been in the chat box. So before I start taking the questions in the chat box, I just want to reiterate what I've said. I said that the simple ways that I want to talk about that we can use to reduce our waste, and we can also use to build a sustainable environment, is what I will tag our 5 hours and a U. And inside that 5 hours and a U, when you look at it, when you're trying to reuse, you're trying to reduce, you're trying to recycle, trying to refuse, you're trying to repair, it comes with making sure that you do, you purchase wisely. Make sure that you purchase whatever you want to purchase, you purchase it wisely. Make sure you also use when you're going shopping, for example, use reusable shopping bag. Don't get to your shopping mall and start collecting plenty of nylon bags. You bring it back to the house, you don't know what to do with it, and then it becomes a problem for you. Another thing you can do, like I said, is to buy secondhand. Stop, purchasing everything new. Each time you buy secondhand, you are actually saving the climate, because you are saving the environment, you are reducing the production cost of each of the new things that you are buying. Another thing that we also do at the Waste Museum is we compost. Now, we have different categories of waste that we're talking about. We have the biodegradable waste, we have the non-biodegradable waste. And so for the biodegradable waste, for example, you have all your food waste, you have your paper, you have what other things that we have. All the biodegradable waste, you can compost them. At the Waste Museum, we don't have a dustbin. So when we sweep in the morning, what we do is we sort it. We put the paper where the paper are, we put the nylon where the nylons are, we put the plastics in the nylon container. So it starts from sorting. It all starts from segregation. Every home, every family, every office, every school must segregate. You must sort. If you don't sort, like all of us that are on this call, how many of us here? We are over 10 people that are here on this call now. If I ask us, how many of us have sorting bin in our houses? That's where it starts from. You have where you don't have to look for something fancy. Just get a bag. Like in the museum, we just use bags. We have a bag, we put paper. We have another bag, we put nylons. We have another bag, we put plastic. And then we have a bucket that we put all our food waste and cut across anything food waste, vegetable shaft, whatever, anything you call food waste, even including on eating food. We have dogs that can eat on eating food. We have cats, we have chickens, we have rabbits. These are ways that we have intentionally put in place so that we don't end up wasting waste. So if you don't put all these things in place, for example, now you are in your house, you just finished eating a particular food and you still have half pot of food. The first thing you should do is that next time you want to cook that kind of food, you should first of all reduce. You cook 3 cups, you can't finish the 3 cups. Next time, don't cook 3 cups, cook 1, cook 2. It's better for you to finish eating that food and you need more than for you to cook and you have extra. And you are having extra food, you don't have dog that will eat the extra food. You don't have cat, you don't have chicken. We at the museum, we have dog, we have cat, we have chicken, we have fish, we have rabbits. All these animals can eat the food. Let's not assume that all the food are spoiled and none of these animals can eat it. We have black soldier fly. Black soldier fly can feed on dead food. They can feed on spoiled food. They can feed on fermented food. And so we have been able to cut across anything food waste at the museum. We don't even have enough. Our animals are eating all our food waste and we don't even have enough. We're even buying food to supplement what they are feeding. This is a medium that we cannot put in place. If you don't like rabbits, get chicken. If you don't have chicken, if you don't like chicken, get dog. If you don't have dog, get cat. So one of these animals will always feed on your waste food. But if you don't have any of these things and you don't want to do it, start a compost bin. You don't have a garden. We encourage everybody to start a garden. That's another strategy, a simple strategy that you can use to mitigate, and to save the environment. Every family that they have more than one person should have a garden. You can grow your own food. You can grow your own herbs. For the past 6 years now, I have not taken any drugs. I've been taking my drugs. I've been taking my veggies from my garden. And guess what? 90% of what is in my garden, they are growing inside one bag, inside one nylon, inside one bucket, inside one paper, inside shoe. Those are where my herbs and my vegetables are growing. And everybody can do this thing. So when you come to the museum and you see what we've done, you will go back to your own space and you go and do this thing, because you will realize that all the myths that you've had in your brain, oh, I don't have plenty of space I can use to plant. I don't have I don't have space. All my places have been cemented. All those things that you think, they're all myths. When you come to the museum, you will see that you can do anything. You can plant. You can start from a cup. You can start from a mug. You can put it on your dining table. You can put it on your windowsill. You don't need a space to have a garden. You can grow your own herbs. If you have a headache, you have herbs that you can use. You have stomachache, you have pain, you have blood shortage. There are so many leaves that God has blessed us with that you can use. But we are suffering and we are perishing and we are being destroyed for lack of knowledge. I pray that we will gain knowledge, and I pray that we will get up and we'll put action to whatever knowledge that we have gained, because it's not enough for us to gain knowledge, but the next thing we need to do is to put action. That's what I said at the beginning. We put action to whatever it is that we have learned. How many of us have a garden here? If you have a garden, then you need a compost. If you don't have a garden and you want to make compost and you don't want to waste your food waste, make the compost. Come and donate it to us at the Waste Museum. If you know you don't need a garden, just make your compost. And to make compost is very easy. I'm sure we all know how to make compost. If you don't know how, you can ask. I can also tell us how to make compost. Very simple. You can make your compost. You can keep it, and So that is, those are simple ways. And all this that I'm talking about is not something that I read on the book. It's my lifestyle. Sustainability is a lifestyle. Circular economy is a lifestyle. You can do it. I can do it. I've been doing it for almost 15 years now. I'm getting better at it. I'm enjoying it every day. I cannot change it for any other thing. I cannot live any other life apart from the life I'm living now, because the life I'm living now, it is sustainable. It is a circular economy. I'm not having any waste. Everything that I generate, I ensure that it is used for something else. I think I've said all this to say that with all the plenty of English that I've spoken all day, we've been able to gain one or two ways that are the simple strategies that I have used. All the things I've said since morning is not what I read in the book. It's a lifestyle. It's what I have practiced, what I have done, and it's working for me. And if it works for me, it can work for you too. Thank you so very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Ram. Thank you. We learned a lot, and I have a lot of take homes there. First of all, to be the solution, and also my actions must be louder than my voice, and that sustainability is a lifestyle. Yes, it is. Thank you so much, ma'am. We really appreciate your input. So before we go to the questions we have in the chat box, there are a few ones that I have here, but then you've answered most of them. But let me still ask some. I wanted to ask that how important is education and awareness is in promoting waste reduction behaviors among individuals and communities? I think that has been answered while you were delivering the lecture. But
yes,
then what
education is the most important thing.
Awareness? Yes.
One strategy is what you are doing here now. You are in a cohort, you are doing a particular program, you are learning more. And like I've said, don't keep it at what you have learned, put it into action. Let our action be louder than our words. And what other things that we do is to go to schools. We're also trying to talk to the government to incorporate all these things into the curriculums. If this thing is inside the curriculum of the primary school, secondary school, and is a part of the curriculum even in the university, we will not be where we are today. So these are areas whereby education can come in place. And we also in our own offices, we also encourage people to go out. We volunteer in public schools. We go to schools, we talk to them, we teach them. Education is not something that we can achieve and say we have 100%. No, it's every day. What we have done at the Waste Museum is that one person per time, one day at a time, one community or one school at a time, and we are moving forward. So if I do it, I achieve, and I'm able to reach out to one school. They're able to reach out to one school. Gradually, we're getting better. And one day we'll be closer to whatever mission at least we want to achieve. But education is very crucial, because if you don't know it, you can't do anything. You don't even have any idea what we're talking about. But I believe that when you know and you see, which is why we started the Waste Museum, when you see, You will not, I will not be the one that will be following you about. What you have seen will now start haunting you, and you will now go ahead and do your own.
Thank you so much, man. So also, what are some challenges to implementing waste reduction strategies, and how can we overcome them at the individual, community, or organization levels? That's for
There are so
businesses, for
many,
business
there are
owners.
so many challenges. There are so many challenges. I've mentioned some of them. Some of them is that people don't want to change. So you are ready to change now. So many people have reached out to me. They are ready to change. They are willing to change. And so they start sorting out their waste, and they finish sorting out and nobody could pick up their waste. That's one major problem, major challenge is because logistics. For example, now we don't have any recycling company around your area, and you have just finished sorting your waste. You have your plastic settled down, you have your paper settled down, and you think, oh, immediately you finish sorting like this, 7 angels will just come from heaven and come and pick it up. You're on your own. No angel is coming. You are the angel. You are the one that will be the angel. You may have to do most of the sacrifices to get it to whoever wants to use it at the beginning. Because if you don't have an upcycler, a recycler, or somebody that used that waste near you, and you say you want to start sorting, you have not made headway. So so that's one major, challenges that we faced, whereby logistics is not able to help us to pick up. We cannot pick up from people because we don't even have logistics to go pick up, or there's even no recycling company near us that particular thing because we are limited. For example, in your state now, we have limited recycling companies that are using, but they are beginning to pick up every day, but they are still far, to some people. And because they are far, you may end up, spending more money on logistics. For example, somebody come and say, oh, I've collected a lot of plastic bottles. I want to come and drop it at the waste museum. How much are you going to buy? And I say, we are buying 15 naira per kilo. And a kilo of plastic bottle, you will need like 50 bottles. So you carry almost 300 bottles, and it is just 3 kilograms. And I'm going to give you 150 naira. I just pay 500 naira to bring it to the museum. It's not sustainable, Abi. But if you look at it in the area of, if you look at it from the angle of, not because you want to make money, but you want to ensure that your waste does not become part of the ones that will be the pollution. So, we have to change our mentality. That is a challenge, and that has to do with the education aspect. If you carry your waste from, let's say you carry your waste from Jericho, and you put it in your boot, and you came to come and drop it for me in Monia, you have just sacrificed ensuring that your plastic bottle does not add up to the one in the landfill. You have spent extra money, you have spent your time, you have spent logistics to bring it. But if you want to calculate it in cost, how much have I made? You have not made anything, but you have actually helped the environment, which I think it is the area why this thing is not moving yet. People are still asking themselves, what is in it for me? Thinking it's about money. But no, we are talking sustainability here. We're talking about the future. We're talking about ensuring that there's a future that our children's children can wake up to meet. And you and I have to make the sacrifices now because we are the foundation member. We are the one that need to jagbo. You get, we are the one that need to cut the forest so that when the forest is open, maybe it will now be easier for that. But for now, we have to be the forefront. We have to be at the forefront, and we have to be the one bearing all the brunt and doing all the sacrifices that we needed to do. But we must do.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. So going to the questions in the chat box, what are the challenges you faced in establishing Waste Museum?
I've mentioned it. We faced logistics. We faced logistics. We faced lack of funds. We faced us making products and people not willing to buy because they are used to importing things. For example, people want to do programs and they're used to going to international. Let's go and buy souvenirs. And we say, oh, come, we can make handmade bracelet. We can make handmade earrings. We can make handmade key holders. And they are saying, no, we prefer to go and buy the one that we buy at international that is imported. So we face that challenges. People not used to buying handmade products or buying products that are more sustainable because one, you have not, you're not empowering somebody in the foreign, you're actually empowering the local industry because when you empower the local industry, you will help us to grow. You help us to be alive. If we make products and you don't buy it, then we don't have money to even continue working. So those were the challenges we faced and we are still facing because it hasn't changed. It's just getting better. And we are also becoming wiser to look for more ways and more areas to make money and to, to be able to make sure that we are sustainable. So we face that challenge. We also face the challenge of people not willing to change. People getting used to a particular thing and saying, no, why do I need to keep my waste? Why do I have to buy handmade product that is made from waste. We have beautiful furniture that we made from tire. And then somebody will say, instead of me buying that one, let me go and buy the one from wood. Even when it is cheaper, they will say, tire. How will I now put tire in my house? And you don't know that the furniture you are buying, the one that is made from wood, a tree, so many trees have been cut down. And the people that are cutting trees and they're not even planting trees, I hope we know that. If you go to sawmill now, and you see plenty of trees, ask them the trees that they bought, how many did they plant back? So the trees that our forefathers have planted 30, 50 years ago, we've almost finished cutting all of them down. And none of our generation is planting new trees. The government is not planting new trees. So in the next 30 or 50 years, there's a prediction that says by 2050, there will be more plastics in the ocean. Me, I say by 2050, there will not be trees in the forest anymore. We'll be looking at trees inside this book. Because if you finish cutting all the trees and nobody's planting any trees, which trees are we going to see in 50 years' time? So we faced a lot of challenges. We are still facing challenges today. But one thing that we have been able to realize is that challenges is part of life. Challenges is part of growth. The day we don't face challenges, maybe we have died. And it's not only our business. Cut across life, cut across living. Challenges are part of life. So we have learned to identify challenges and look for ways around it and not let that keep us from following and, pushing on whatever we want to do. So for every challenge we have been able to come across, we've been able to look for a way around it and look at it as a learning curve. So for our challenges, we take it as a learning curve and we move on with it. So we are used to challenges, we are open to challenges, and every day we surmount challenges and we move on and we get our goals done.
Yes, that's the most important thing. Thank you so much, ma'am. And there's one here, I think it's from your bio while I was reading it. She said, how do you intend to achieve your long-term goals? That's engaging unemployed youths and women. And
we have started already.
Initiatives? Okay.
Yeah, we have started already. We do it every day. For example, now, last month, let me tell you another challenges that we have. We don't have committed staff. We don't have people that are walking the talk, that are willing to put their action where their mouth is talking. For the past 1 month, we've been putting out a notice that we are looking for we want to employ 2 more people that are interested in working in sustainability. And guess what? We've not been able to get. Why? Our students want to japa. Our youth wants fast money. They want to start work today and start earning 100,000 naira. They want to, and so they will come, we'll do interview, and we realize that nobody's really, really interested in walking the talk. That's what also another challenge is, because our youths are finishing, half of them want to travel abroad. The ones that don't want to travel abroad, they want to learn a 1 million naira job today. And so to get youths that will be willing to put in their energy, put in their strength, to learn, to even when we put out a notice that we want to do free training, hardly will you get. This last week, we put out the notice. Last month, we had a training for teenagers. We were able to get. This coming Friday now, we are doing a training for women. Free training, around Monia and its environs. We hope that we'll be able to get the numbers. So every day we keep putting it out. We keep reaching out to people. We do trainings. We do the ones that are free. We do the ones that are subsidized. We do the ones that are sponsored. Year in, year out, month in, month out, one day at a time. I'm moving closer. It's a long-term goal. Until I'm dead, I'm still moving on. So if I'm able to achieve 1 person this year, good. If I achieve 10 people this year, good. One day, I wake up every day, I'm following that vision, I'm reaching out. That is part of what I'm doing here. I'm not supposed to be here today, but because I know that one of you, somebody here may listen to me today and have a change of heart. Somebody here may listen to me today and be encouraged to start and to stay, because it is not in starting, it's actually in staying. Because when you start and you face challenges, if you're not determined, you will run away. You go and when I started, there was nobody doing this thing. I was a crazy person. I know that I'm still crazy till now. But I was not willing to listen to anybody, because I believed it strongly in my heart that God wanted me to walk in this area. And so I was showing up every day, even when I'm confused, even when I don't know what to do, even when I don't know where to go next, even when I don't know where I'm going to see the next money that I'm going to even use to take transport to where I'm going to go and talk about this thing. I was still showing up. How many of our youths can be committed enough to do that, to put their action where their talk has been? We are all used to talking. Everybody can talk. How many of us cannot talk? We can all talk now. But when push comes to shove and you have to stay and keep working on what you are working on, whether there's money in there or there's no money there, So that's one of our challenges. So every day we face, if we say we have a 2025 goal of reaching out to unemployed youth, in the museum now, we have started employing women in our communities. These are women that have gone through abusive relationships, that have multiple children that they cannot take care for. We are paying salaries at the museum now. We are every day working closer to our mission. When you say something is a mission or something is a vision, it's not something that you achieve today, but just make sure that every day you are getting closer. Every day you're working towards it. If somebody comes to the museum tomorrow now and we employ her or we employ him, is that not part of our mission? Have we not given that person employment? We are already doing it already. Don't wait until we can do 1 million before you realize that we are doing it too. My brother, my sister, we are on it. We are doing it already.
Thank you so much. And lastly, Ibrahim Gowa is asking that for those who don't have access to recycling companies around them after sorting, how can we learn these upcycling techniques on our own in order to reduce wastes?
So many ways you can learn it. You can come to the museum to learn. You can learn online. If you type whatever question you think you want to type, if you go to your YouTube now and you type it inside, you will see 1,000,001 answers. So go to YouTube, go to Pinterest, and you can also come to the Waste Museum. We are here in Ibadan. We train youth, we train children, we call out for volunteers. Presently now we are going to 45 schools to install organic backyard garden. We put the volunteer notice out. I've sent that notice out now for 3 weeks. I've only gotten 2 volunteers online that have joined us. Some people will see it, they will not put action where their talk is. So that's what we're talking about. There's so many areas where you can learn, but are we willing to put in what is required to learn? Many of us say we want to learn, but are we actually ready to learn? When you're ready to learn, you contact me and you will learn.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I don't know, do we still have questions for our wonderful guest speaker, actors in the house? Why I check for her contact and put in the chat box so that we can reach out to her. Do we have anyone that have questions for Madam Jumoke? Okay, upcycling.
Somebody was asking that there are initiatives. Somebody was asking that there are initiatives. Yes, we have so many initiatives. You can follow us online, follow our Instagram page, check our website.
Yes,
we put out a lot of notice.
Yes.
We put out a lot of notice online when we have events. We just had 2 events last week. We are having another one coming up this coming week. We have so many events that we do, and we always put it out on our social media. So if we say we want to learn more, presently now we have 2 slots for people that we want to hire. We have 2 slots for interns that are willing and are ready to work in this sustainability and environmental space. We will teach them for free. And when they finish their training, we will employ them at the Waste Museum. We have 2 slots. If you know somebody that is interested, let us know. Contact us. So there are so many opportunities out there, but our youth are used to talking. They don't want to put action to it. That is my own experience. So, except you tell me otherwise.
Oh my God. So youths, we can hear from her. Let's stop doing the talking but acts. Let our actions be louder than our voice. Thank you so much, Ma, for this insightful one. Thank you. We really, really learned a lot. And I want to believe every one of us learned 1 or 2 things. So by implementing these simple waste reduction strategies extensively discussed by our guest speaker on this webinar, we all can make our environment and planet more sustainable and also help conserve natural resources, reduce pollution, mitigate climate change, and protect the human health and environment. So on this note, we would like to say thank you once again, ma'am. We cannot thank you because I've seen your face or picture in almost all the CAAP webinars. I'm like, God, and she's still going to speak during our webinar too. Thank you for always willing to share out of your wealth of knowledge. That's one thing I appreciate about you most. Thank you for not holding the knowledge that you have. Thank you so much, ma'am. On behalf of our climate actors, our coordinators, we love you and wish you more grace and more strength in this line. And in years to come, you'll still be one of the most leading sustainability companies in the forefront by God's grace. You not get too weary and we get more grants to push out what you have out there. Thank you so much, ma'am. We love you. Do you have any final words for our actors, ma'am, before we
Well,
leave
final
you?
words, final words,
Yes,
final words, final word. The world is waiting. The world is waiting for us. The world is waiting for you. Don't look down on yourself. Don't ever tell yourself you cannot do it. No matter how small you are, no matter where you are. When we started, we were in Monia. There was nothing happening in Monia when we started. But we did not look down on ourselves. So you all can do it. Whatever area you find yourself, wherever you are, the world is waiting for that idea. I'm sure there's something in your heart that is beating that you know that you need to do. Please go out today and do it. We are waiting.
yes.
We can't wait to see
Go
you
out
on that
today and
stage.
do it.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. We love you. Bye, ma'am. Please, can we unmute our mic and thank our guest speaker? Please, let's unmute and say thank you to her. Let's say thank you to her, please.
Thank you very much,
Thank
ma'am.
you very
I
much,
really
ma. We
appreciate
really
it.
appreciate your
Your time,
time.
your effort, everything you put in place, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. You can follow us on social media, reach out to me, send me a message on WhatsApp. I'm always available. If you call me, I
Alright,
don't pick your call.